Hi, my name's Kathy Skipper. I'm a menopause midwife, and welcome to my channel, The Alchemy of Menopause. In this video, I want to make an analogy between what is known as the triple goddess and the journey of menopause. So the triple goddess is a sort of mythological imagery of the goddess that can be found in many different cultures all over the world. I think the goddess that we can most commonly relate to the triple goddess is Hecate, who's the goddess of the crossroads. She has three faces or three part figures. Yeah, she's made up of three faces. And she has torches to light the way when she's going underground or into the underworld. She's often with her hounds that are her sort of representation of her instinctual knowledge. But why the three or the triple goddess and menopause? And the reason why is because I think I want to first of all get rid of the myth that when we get to menopause and then become a crone or a wise elder, then that's it. We're old and we're nothing else. And it's actually not true. Where the journey of menopause is about becoming more whole. It's a journey of maturation. We are maturing, our bodies are aging, but we're becoming more whole. So what does that mean? That means there's more of us. We know more of who we are. And to become whole, as I always say in these videos, we have to know what isn't us, what doesn't belong to us, or what's outdated, and let it go, and reclaim the parts of ourselves that we might have abandoned along the way. So the triple goddess is the maiden, the mother, and the crone, or the child, the virgin, the mother, and the wise elder. And so what I've noticed working with women as we go through perimenopause is that a big part of the journey is one, reclaiming parts of the inner child that we have abandoned along the way. So this is a huge subject, and I'm only going to touch on it very briefly to give you an outline, but the inner child is really our purest essence, our most soulful aspect of ourselves, because when the child is born, the child just is. Doesn't know anything about the world, just is who she is. And as she grows up in her family, depending on the family, she learns to fit in. And depending on what fitting in means, often she has to abandon parts of her most authentic self in order to fit in. So, for example, in my family of upbringing, I quickly learned that being codependent and sort of being what other people wanted me to be, choosing what other people wanted me to choose, was safer than saying, hey, what's going on here? This story doesn't really make any sense. And so in order to do that, in order to become codependent and put my attention out on, who I needed to be to keep everybody happy, I had to abandon the part of myself that would have said, fuck this. And so, different women in different stories have different parts of their self that they have abandoned, and in order to create or develop survival strategies to keep them going. So in perimenopause, part of the work that I do with women is to reclaim these parts. These are what Marion Woodman, the Jungian analyst who worked with a lot of women that I really honor her work, calls the virgin. The virgin is the part of ourself that is the most authentic. She is whole unto herself. In a way, that's really where we're going in perimenopause, to become whole unto ourselves, not to be influenced or try to be a certain way, but to be who we really are. So part of that is reclaiming these parts of our inner child that we've abandoned along the way. The mother archetype, it doesn't matter whether a woman in my group was an actual physical mother or birthed children herself. The mother archetype is a huge part of the archetype of the feminine, and a huge part of what makes up the feminine psyche. So, the great Mother Earth is part of the feminine archetype. That we were all mothered in some way by our mothers or by a mother substitute. Some of us were mothers. And there's within the mother archetype, which is huge, there are negative versions of the mother, there are positive versions of the mother, there's the great mother. And we work through all this because these things have affected us in our life. And if we're on a journey towards wholeness, we have to understand this. And we take these parts with us. We're not abandoning them. Oh, because I'm becoming a crone, I'm no longer, in touch with this mother archetype. Of course we are. And then finally, the third archetype is the crone or wise elder. And she is the one that emerges after the 2 to 10 years that it takes to go through perimenopause. And after having done all this sorting of house and reclaiming parts and working through wounded parts, etc., there'll be a moment, we don't know when that moment is, where we rise and we come back into the world changed. And hopefully, if the journey has been successful, the birth is effective, and there's a living human at the end of it, the triple goddess is part of who we are. We are in touch with our inner child. We are playful. We know how to play. We know how to be ourselves. We know how to listen to her. We're in touch with the mother archetype. We're in touch with the fact that we resonate with Mother Earth, with nature, with the cycles of nature. And we are walking forward proudly as the crone or wise woman. Okay, so that was a short video. Hope it was helpful. If you want me to continue doing these videos, please subscribe to my channel, share underneath. All that helps. Lots of love.